Hi, I'm Doug here at Global West, and I'm going to talk to you today about rear trailing arms for 1982 to 02 Camaros and Firebirds. Now, these particular trailing arms we have on the table are a racing version. They run a double bearing system. Part number is a TBC1. We run bearings rather than bushings because the bearings will give us much better control. They're a spherical bearing and they perform something like this. They allow articulation of the rear end, but there's no deflection or bind. And that's something you want in a racing environment. Under hard cornering or in straight line acceleration, what happens is if you're running a different style bushing rather than a bearing type application, there's compression in the bushing and the arm lengths actually can change a little bit, okay? And that was one of the big problems on the 82 to 02s when you're coming up for corner exit or in a drag race environment, the rear end would actually shift a little bit. So going to performance bushings or going to a bearing system, either way would help solve a lot of problems. But the bearing is actually the best way to go because it allows for full articulation of that differential without bind. Anytime you get bind in the rear suspension, it equates to spring rate. It increases, and that affects the handling directly. So if you're autocross, drag race, road race, this particular kit, TBC1, is something that you might want to consider because it's got a double bearing system in it and it doesn't have any of those issues that would be normally associated with running a standard type bushing. The articulation is very important for that movement to allow that differential to pitch and do this, okay? Bearings will get the job done. Bushings generally will not do that. So for 82 to 02 Camaros and Firebirds, if you're racing these particular vehicles, this is a good setup for you. If you're driving on the street, yes, it's a good setup. However, you can get a little transmission of rear end noise up through because it is double bearing. If you're running a quiet exhaust system, we have another part number called TBC14, Quiet Ride, which would be a better choice for you. But if you're actually racing this car and you got a loud exhaust system, even though you're driving on the street, you won't even notice these things are on there. TBC1, racing, rear trailing arms for 82 to 02 Camaro and Firebird.